Hi, my name's MJ. I'm a trans man. I started my medical transition about 10 years ago. I was on T for a while. I had top surgery. About 3 years in, I ended up detransitioning because I started having liver issues while on testosterone. I don't consider myself detransitioned now. Some do, including medical personnel. However, this is how I presented for like a month and a half. Honestly, I'm very proud of myself that I was so open about the journey because it did take a lot of courage. I had like 60,000 followers on Instagram. They followed my journey as a trans man, and to make such a huge leap and to be open about it was not easy. And I give kudos to myself because I did that. I even still recorded videos back then.
Well, why do you have to be so feminine? Why this? Why that? Like, if you've never even had the experience, like, you have no place to talk.
I thought I'd answer some common questions I get asked when it comes to my detransition. So the number one question I get asked by far is like, why did you go all the way? Like, why did you present so feminine? And this is for two reasons. Number one, I didn't know what the hell was gonna happen. And this is me right before my detransition. Granted, it took me forever to grow facial hair and I had to like dye and accentuate what little I had. But I mean, this is how I was presenting and living my life. I was passing as a cis male on a day-to-day basis. And now I was faced with the fact that a lot of that might revert. That was terrifying. So my first thought was, well, if I detransition, it's like ripping a band-aid off. I can present feminine. I don't have to look in the mirror thinking, what's going to revert next? What am I going to lose next? I knew it would be hard and I'd have dysphoria, but I already had a support team in place, so I figured, that would help with that. But secondly, I live in a small town in New Hampshire. Even just growing up gay was not easy here. I knew from experience early on in my transition that not passing was not always going to go over well. I didn't want to get hassled. I wanted to be left the hell alone. And I'm not insinuating in any way that women do not face dangers in everyday life, but the risk was higher as a non-passing trans man at that time. Even though I looked alternative and I had king tattooed on my neck, people left me alone. Another question I get asked is what changes did revert? So to be completely transparent, testosterone in terms of like looks did not do a whole lot for me. Like I said, I can grow facial hair, but I really have to work to grow it and really accentuate it. This is me before testosterone. My face is generally the same. So as far as that goes, I don't notice a lot of changes. Maybe when I do grow my facial hair, it might be a tiny bit less thick, which isn't saying much because like I said, I don't get much of it. My voice is the same. That does not revert. One thing I was very concerned about because I could not find a lot of information on it was chest regrowth. When I got top surgery, I chose to leave fat in my chest because I'm a bigger guy. I always have a gut. I figured it just kind of looked natural. With that being said, I was still nervous. Like, oh my gosh, if I go off testosterone, does that mean that I'm going to have regrowth and that like, it's not going to look as natural? Like I was really concerned about that. I asked my surgeon about it, and although he was very understanding, he's like, don't worry about it. If you did need revisions, we will make sure it's covered. He was so accommodating, but he didn't have answers. He's like, this is a very rare occurrence, and, it's hard to find people, even physicians, that have any insight towards it. I can tell you that there was not regrowth. I only know that because I literally would measure my chest like obsessively all the time because I was so nervous. Even when I was detransitioned, I would still measure it. During my detransition, I was actually very honest with people that, this is probably temporary. I was very open about the fact that if I find a way to transition back without testosterone, I'm doing it. I lasted about a month and a half presenting feminine, and then that was my limit. Couldn't do it anymore. Even when I retransitioned back to male, I still was pretty passing because, I still worked on growing my facial hair out and dyeing it and, just making sure it was more noticeable. Now I just frankly don't give a shit if I pass. I think I look better without it. Another question I get asked is, will I go on testosterone again? No. The truth is, even if I could go on a form that bypasses the liver, to me it's not worth it. Going on testosterone still carries risk. My risk for like cardiovascular issues would still be that of a cis man, which is higher than it likely is now. And for something that gave me such minimal changes, I mean, why do it? I'm glad I went on testosterone from my voice alone because this used to be my voice.
This is my voice, almost a month on testosterone.
And I still have my customer service voice, or when I'm really nervous, I talk like this. But it was such a mismatch, like my everyday voice and how I looked, that caused a lot of dysphoria. So I'm thankful just for that. So yeah, that was literally back in like 2019. I retransitioned back to male. I've been like this ever since. I identify as male. I don't always pass. That's fine with me. I've accepted I'm not ever gonna have a beard down to my belly button. I'm never gonna surpass 5'6". But there's perks to being me. Part of why I don't pass is because I got a baby face. I got beautiful blue eyes. No matter how many tattoos I put on me, I have an inviting and kind face. I've learned not to hate that. I think that's just fine. I think it's great.